it was getting a point where at church, they're like, hey, this is Pedro, he's divorced and has 2 kids. And I'm like, why are you introducing him to me? Because I was the oldest at church with no boyfriend. No.
Wow.
So
and how old were you?
Probably like in my 21 around.
Whoa.
So
Oh my God.
See, to us, that's young.
You didn't want to have a relationship. You just didn't want to.
No, there was nothing.
There was
like
nothing
no, I was
interesting
no,
to you?
there wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't. No, like I felt like every boy that went, like if he was cute, I had a crush on everybody. I had a crush because I didn't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're getting calls. I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted that attention. That's why on the cheating part, when I went to Puerto Rico, that somebody gave me the attention. He had a girlfriend, and I was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
Because I wanted that.
Yeah.
So, so there was nothing, nothing our type in our city.
Yeah.
So they're like, no. So I moved out with my aunt. We moved together to Orlando. I got a job. I was supposed to go to school. I got a job. I started being independent, paying my bills, paying my apartment. And once I lost my virginity, that's when I saw a guy for the first time. Because that's what I was raised to think. So I'm like,
but that's just a part of women's health.
Yeah. It's not
like we
don't.
Like, it's part of your body. You should
Exactly.
You get your eyes checked, you get your
checked.
ears checked, you get your throat checked, your whatever checked, and why wouldn't you get that checked?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty important part.
Exactly.
It's
so,
super important.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know like who made that like a taboo. Like you don't get it checked until you get married because it's like it's the furthest thing.
Is
from
that
the
a
truth.
cultural thing again?
I think it's a cultural
It's
thing.
probably a cultural thing.
I think it's a cultural thing.
And again, if you're not Puerto Rican, tell us what your family told you. Did they say it was great to be on birth control when you were 12?
Yeah.
Or
did they think it's just you were having sex all the time?
I mean, it could just be our point of view because that's just we all have the same background,
Yeah, exactly.
It's the way we were raised.
Yeah.
Another taboo, virginity.
Oh my God, let's not even talk about that. Like, no, let's not even talk about that because to this day, like, everybody will know. I lost it at 18 and I'm still with the person, okay? I was very picky, okay? Very picky.
That's not bad.
And to this day, my mom doesn't want to talk about it. Like, she knows. Like, we had our own place. Like, what do you think we're gonna,
My mom told me that she knew when I lost it, that she could tell.
Really?
I'm like, what? Yeah.
Like, they don't make life so much easier.
I knew it. I'm like, she knows everything. I'm like,
Oh
no.
my God. Well, when you're a woman yourself and you're experienced and you know what you felt like, probably.
Maybe she had
so
that gut. You know, we have that gut feeling.
You probably know.
Maybe she had that gut feeling. Like there's something different about John.
She had a twinge in her nipple.
Yeah.
Well, she lost it. I
My ears
Well,
itchy.
mommy,
I know what
if you
it is.
knew, like, please tell me, like, please, because she
No,
never
she-
said anything. To this day, my mom,
No.
she doesn't. It's not something we
No,
talk about.
mommy.
It's not.
Like, even though mommy was very open, it was very like awkward to tell my mom.
know. Why?
I don't know. Like,
Well,
I
do you
felt
feel-
awkward,
but-
but then when I told
do you
her,
feel
she's like, I knew it.
But do you
I'm
feel like you have to? That's something that's personal. Why do you have to tell somebody?
I don't feel like you have to.
No, I don't have to.
Yeah.
But you know how you want Camille to be open and tell you how she feels. That's how mommy was about that. So even though it took me a little while to go and tell her, Mom, I lost
So
my virginity.
you felt awkward telling her?
Yeah, like
For what reason?
I don't know, because it was me. It's her daughter. Like, it's easy for her to talk to my friends, but it's her daughter. It's her daughter. I'm
Even
pretty
though
sure-
she was open with you?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
awkward.
that's scary.
It was
So that's
awkward.
something you have to think about with that.
It was
You're like, I told you to be open. You open?
Be open. So
I think it's good to kind of have like a best friend where they feel like it's like family and they'll tell your best friend. And I'm okay with that. Like if they want to go tell
See,
like
that's why I have like my sister.
yeah.
Sometimes she'll feel more comfortable talking to her.
See?
And she's like, hey, by the way, she told me such and such or whatever. And it's always something stupid, you know, because she's little. But
Yeah.
if she does that now, I hope if she doesn't tell me, she tells her.
Yeah.
Or she feels that comfort.
yeah.
Because I
Exactly.
get it. Like, I would feel comfortable talking to my sister more than my mom do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
because, I don't know, it's just a different type of
is
comfort.
a
It's a different type. I don't know, you almost don't want to disappoint.
Exactly.
And you feel like if you're talking to somebody that's like an
I think it
equal.
was a disappointment.
Yeah.
It was a disappointment
Yeah.
because we were taught like you lose your virginity when you get married.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wanted that, like, okay, I moved out, so okay, I could still be a virgin and get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could still do
You,
that.
you,
So,
you were very pressured by your upbringing.
yeah.
You don't realize
See,
how
that's
much.
the topic, like
It's
pressure of
weird.
your upbringing.
Like
It's
it's
in here.
ingrained.
Yeah.
And even if it
in
wasn't
here.
told, just by them doing what they did, you were just like, okay, this is how it is, and it has to be like that.
It's in here, so yeah, like
Yeah.
I think I'm like I think
It's
it
so
was,
funny
I
that
think it was
you-
the disappointment. It was disappointment
Yeah.
that I didn't wait or whatever. And
You didn't wait, but you were 23. Shit.
Good for you.
No,
like,
and you know what? I lost it with whatever pendejo it was.
Right.
And because I thought like, and again, it's because it's in here.
Yeah.
You know what we talked about the culture about how they're serving the man like you gotta do this blah blah blah. Like I thought I'm not good enough. So this might be I'm not good enough.
Like you lost your worth.
yeah.
Like I might not be. This might be my last chance in doing it.
Why?
So I went with it.
Because
Why?
you also
There's more details to it. That's for
Like, you
another
felt like you were
topic.
getting too old?
That's another topic. Like self-esteem.
that I know what you're saying. Self-esteem,
Self-esteem.
self-love.
Like
yeah.
you get what you can get.
Yeah.
Like you feel like that's all you can
And
get.
I'm pretty
and
sure like Fefi
take
married
advantage of it.
Fefi married the person that she married because she probably thought the
You
same thing.
feel- well,
But
yeah.
and the difference was that she married that person. The
Yeah.
difference with me is that I gave that person my virginity, or I lost it and that was it.
And that's why I think I don't think that it's that you necessarily need to wait till marriage.
I don't believe in that.
I just
sorry.
feel like you need to wait till you're ready.
Yes.
You need to wait till emotionally and even then when you think you're ready you're probably not going to be because when you're a virgin and you take that step, you're not aware of the emotions and the feelings that you get
Yeah.
for that other person, even though
Yeah.
you might say you don't. You just gave that person a part of you
Yeah.
that you'll never
Yeah.
be able to get back.
Exactly.
And you're always going to remember who that person was,
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
were, how you felt. You'll
Yeah.
always remember that.
Exactly.
And it's like, make sure it's with somebody you care about. Make sure it's with somebody
Exactly.
Special.
it's
yeah.
special. Like,
Yeah.
don't just give it away just because
Yeah.
you can
Yeah, no,
or because you feel
exactly.
pressured to
No,
or whatever.
exactly.
Oh, I'm 30 and I haven't done it yet.
That's how-
because
that's
nobody
how-
freaking has been worthy for it. How about
Yeah,
that?
that's how
Exactly.
I felt. I'm like,
Be picky with that. If you
Yeah.
gotta be picky, be picky with that.
Yeah.
Date around, but
No.
you don't gotta
and,
do
yeah,
exactly.
and once I told my mom, like everything was like, porque I felt like this like heaviness on me. But once I told her,
I feel
because
like you put
I
that
had-
heaviness on yourself.
Yeah, I had questions.
She was like, okay.
I had questions. I had
Oh my
questions, and who better than? And you could ask your sister and our friend Jolie. Like my mom's like, oh, and we would sit and we've had conversations where we're laughing, and now, but we're older. But when we were a little bit younger, when I say then, I'm like maybe after she got married with Peter, whatever. Like we would talk topics, and we're like, my mom's like, oh no, you do this, you do that, and I'm like, wow, like everybody feels open enough to talk to mommy, and that's mommy around my friends.
Yeah.
Like I've had friends like, hey, ask your mom if this is normal. I'm like,
Oh my
what's
God.
your mother?
Yeah.
See, and that's why I start now with Gami, because so many times you are young and you don't know any better, so you think that if something happens to you, it just happened because it was supposed to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to her, I tell her, listen, nobody touches you.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to see anything of yours. I don't care if anybody asks. I don't care if they're trying to play a game. I don't care and you don't keep secrets either.
Yeah.
And because anytime you hear something crazy about somebody, doing bad things to a young kid, they always say, oh, it's our little secret.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, make sure you don't say it, you'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
No.
So I make sure I'm open with her and I'm like, listen, and I get angry.
Yeah.
Because I just think, God
Of the
forbid,
moment, yeah.
anybody. And
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to never have anything like that happen to me. And I already have my issues. Imagine if I did have something
Yeah.
happen to me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Another topic.
That's
So-
another taboo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But and I feel like I tell her and I try to keep the conversation open with her. Now I say, how was your day at school? Did anybody talk to you? Anybody bother you? Any
Yeah.
issues you're
Yeah.
having?
Yeah. Oh,
Are
I
you
like
great?
Mhm.
I tell her because I know now nothing's happening, and I can tell nothing's happening because she's chipper and great. But if something happens, I'll be able to notice, and it won't be like a switch, and it'll be like something's wrong. She's keeping it from me, and I want her to be open with me, and the same for my son. He's just not old enough yet. Yeah. But I feel like keep the communication there, and I mean that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I think it's something that it carries with you, you know what I mean? Because like it's a taboo that we don't talk about it. So it's when I was younger, you know, things happen, and it's like I'm very independent. I'm very like I want to do this by myself. I want to be like this because of, you know, what happened to me when I was younger. Right. And it's like, it's something that my mom didn't want to talk about. And I talked to her one day about it because one day she just told me, she's like, why are you so mean? Like, she just told me this. And she's like, why are you so mean? Why are you always like, because I'm like this with my parents. I'm always against them. It's bad. And I told her, and she was like, okay, well, let's not talk about that again. And we don't talk, and we haven't talked about it. I talk with it about, we talk about it with, I talk about it with Jeremy, and I am in a so much better place about it. Wow. Because I talk with it with Jeremy, but it's like, my mom's like, okay, like she doesn't want to feel held responsible.
And it's uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable. Yeah. So it's something that like my sister, like I pretty much helped raise her, and I'm like, Taisha, like tell me, like, are you okay here? Like, I know when she's uncomfortable, and I know when she's not okay. She likes to keep things from me, but she goes to my mom, and then my mom's like, well, listen, this is what's happening. Because in her head, like, she sees me more as a mom. So she's like, I don't want to hurt Trixie. I don't want to disappoint Trixie. Yeah. So she'll tell my mom, and then my mom's like, oh, this is what's happening with Taisha. And then I'm like, okay. And then I go and sit down, and we have lunch, and we talk, and we do what we have to do, because I don't want her to ever be angry, and I don't ever want her to be at a point where I am, where I'm always against my parents. I don't want her to do that, you know?
Yeah. Communication helps.
And bringing in the topic of virginity, I feel like the virginity is just for the girls.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
it's definitely a cultural. It's a thing where it's like boys get to do whatever the hell they want, and they're mad, and they're like, I'm a G because I had all the ladies, and then when the girl does it, it's like, you're nasty, you're a slut, you're a hoe.
You're a slut, you're a hoe.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking about that because Jennifer Lopez and what's his name? A-Rod broke up, blah, 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 and they're making fun of how many marriages, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you know how many celebrities have married so many women?
Yeah.
Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on the woman.
Yeah.
Same with virginity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We need to save ourselves. But what about him? He is fucking everything in the hole. And that's good.
And that's
you're good.
That's a thing that happened in my family, with having a sister and a brother. I'm the middle, and my sister's older, my brother's younger, and me and my sister were always held to, you are a lady, you keep your legs closed, you you know, you get home at this time, and then the boy. Okay, bye.
My brother didn't have
that's
to.
it.
My brother didn't have
There's
to.
no rules.
Oh, because he could protect himself.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's not fair.
Right, and then he can't come home pregnant.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if anything, he's more dangerous because he can just impregnate
everybody.
I had a former friend that she thought exactly like that.
Yeah.
She thought exactly like that. What happened? Her daughter got pregnant at home.
Oh my God! At her house?
No, I say at home because the daughter was at home. And she didn't find out that she was pregnant until 2 weeks before she gave birth.
Whoa.
Okay? Her boobs were like this. She graduated and everything. She hid her pregnancy. And then she wasn't feeling good. They took her to the doctor and they're like, yeah, congratulations, grandma. Like, she's going to give birth soon. She's like, oh my, like, because it's about, you don't talk about it.
Yeah. But you don't, I'd rather talk about it.
Thank you.
And if be uncomfortable, then not talk about it and really be fucking uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Because we could have prevented the situation.
But the same person, her son got 2 girls pregnant.
Oh God.
2 girls pregnant, and guess who paid for 2 abortions?
Grandma
did. Yes, she did. Okay, you can't ruin my son's future. Yeah,
but
she
he
did.
ruined his own future.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You see, this is what I mean about abortion.
Yeah.
Like, and when you're doing it as birth control, come on.
That
Yeah,
is-
no,
That's
zero.
birth control. You're doing
No,
it. Oh, if I get
no.
pregnant, I'll just get
No,
pregnant.
it's stupid. No, yeah.
That's what bothers
that's
me.
really, it's really fucked up.
It's crazy because
No.
like my mom doesn't want to talk about me like losing it and stuff, but my brother told her straight up and was like, "Oh, I lost it, blah blah." My mom's like, "Okay," and my mom's like, "Well, you know, be careful. Don't try to get any girls pregnant." She's like, "But it doesn't really matter because it won't be our problem." That's what my mom always
It's partly
says.
your.
And I'm like, I always
your
look at her and I'm
child's
like,
kid, though. That's your child's kid.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, I was
you're a
like, it
grandparent.
is your problem because that's your grandkid.
I've had.
And I was like, but that's how people. I'm not saying that's how people, but that's
Again,
how some.
is that another generational? thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I've had people that because Javi and I do not have any kids, and so got pregnant, teen.
You want to take
Oh,
it?
we'll give it to what the fuck?
You're-
You take it.
Yeah.
Listen.
Are you serious?
Wait.
Yes, I've had so many family couples that are like, hey, listen, my niece, yeah, she got knocked up, yeah. And I told them, no, don't get an abortion. We could give it to so and so. And I'm like, no, we're not gonna take it. No.
What the?
Yeah, like
I would not even have the cojones to
No.
go and ask you.
This
Be
is
like, oh, you know.
you're being irresponsible. Like that, this person has a family. There's a grandmother or a grandfather. There's
There's two.
boyfriend. There is uncles and aunt. That child could stay in that family. No,
Yeah.
no, and I am not like if we get to the point if we feel like we want to adopt a child, I want it closed. I don't want you in my business.
Yeah. Mhm.
If my child at 18 wants to know, that's fine. I will help them out.
Yeah.
Will I talk to them about adoption? That's another taboo.
It is
Would I
another
talk to my
taboo.
child about, yeah, this is how it happened or whatever? Yeah, I will. And if later on they want to find out, yes, we will help you out. But meanwhile, I'm not gonna adopt a child so Pepe that did not want the responsibilities or grandma that to start coming in like, oh yeah, that's my branch. I'm like, no.
I guess-
This is my
Unless
child.
it's acceptable.
This is mine.
Yeah.
Because
This
you,
is mine.
You
I
change your mind doesn't mean you can change your mind.
No, I'm
Exactly.
sweating my ass, busting my ass, raising these kids my way or whatever. So then you could come once in a while for Christmas and be like, I'm your real grandmother. I love you.
No.
But that, why don't you keep it?
Yeah,
Why don't
right.
you keep it? No. My child till he's 18 or she, then you can do whatever you want. I have your back. I will help you out. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, no.
Yeah.
You're not coming.
What if they ask it before then?
Yeah, I feel like we would tell them when the age is right, we will help you do that.
Mm.
And you want to feed them little by little. I'm not going to, let's say she or he is 8 and be like, where did I come? I will tell them little by little, just like my parents did with the sexual education,
Yeah.
little by little, what that child
Age
will take,
appropriate.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to give them. As
Yeah.
they get older, that's what I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're adult enough to take it. This is what really happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom was a drug addict and couldn't take care of you, and we decided that we were gonna adopt you, and here you are. And
Yeah.
let's find her now. I know what she got now. But no, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not.
See, that's one thing I'm happy my parents did. My sister's adopted. She was at 2. She was adopted. We've always told her. I remember distinctly like her going to kindergarten and then like her teacher being like, tell us 2 things about you. And I don't know what she said the first thing. And then the second thing, she's like, and I'm adopted. She's like, and I love it. And yeah, like she's like, and I love it. And then her teacher was flabbergasted. I remember like her calling my mom and her being like, your daughter told us that she's adopted and this and that. And then she's like, did you ask my daughter like why? Like, did you explain to her? Like, did you ask her like why are you so proud of this? And she's like, no, I didn't. She's like, well, go do that. Ask my daughter because my daughter will tell you. And the way my parents always explained it was, hey, with Trixie and your brother and Andy, like I didn't have a choice. Like we got pregnant, you know,
But we
that's
picked
them.
you.
Yeah, they're like, we picked you.
Right.
You came from our heart.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what my sister told her teacher. And her teacher was like, oh, so I liked her explanation, blah, blah. Like, that's so cute that you guys tell her. And I was like, I'm not trying to hide anything. Like, and
If anything,
I
that's true.
appreciate
With the kids
it.
that I had, I couldn't choose
Yeah.
what they were gonna be like or
Exactly.
if they were a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can do that now. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like when you are adopting, it's like you really are choosing
Yeah.
that child for
Yeah.
your family.
Our story was different. Our youngest brother, he is adopted, and he's always known. We've always been open about it. Like I said, like just feed him little by little. And the way it came up, and I always kind of like wanted to be ready because myself, my mom, and Fefi are like the mom because he is way younger than us. And we were at a hairdresser getting our hair done, and the effing hairdresser, like if you're watching, that's for you.
Do you know her? Like,
I forgot about her name.
Okay.
Like I remember her. I know what she looks like. It's because it angers me. Like you are so stupid, ignorant.
yeah.
She was cutting his hair, and she's like, "Hey, that's your." I think she's like, "Who's your mom?"
She said something about his hair.
No, because mommy, of
His
course,
texture?
Dominican, and she has
Texture?
different texture hair.
texture.
So do I.
Yeah.
And then he's like right there. She was like 2 chairs away, and I always wanted to be ready, but I'm sorry.
No, she put it in a
That
position.
bitch got me like.
She
put
caught
me-
you off guard.
Yeah.
Yes, because I always wanted to be ready, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're not ready.
just the same way, like we're
Yeah.
feeding him little by little. Like, he knows mom is not his mom. He always knew.
Yeah.
His real mom would call once a year. Anyways, that's another story. So to him, that's his mom. So when she said, "Who's your mom?" and he said, "Right there." She's right there. She said, "Oh, so who's your dad?"
What is that any of your business?
Yeah, right?
How old was he?
I'm like, but this is how it hit him. Like, okay, usually like you should. He said, "That's my mom." Okay, but the way she said, "Who's your dad?" it clicked on him. He's like, he looked at me. I don't want to cry. He looked at me through the mirror, and he's like, "Jenny, who's my dad?"
What?
I'm sorry. And I'm like, "Bobby's your dad. That's your dad." And I looked at her and I gave her a dirty look. I'm like, that
Hey,
right there.
if you're watching,
Yeah.
So that right there is when, that right there is
people
when.
realize the
that's
stuff they say.
Because all
Fuck
this time he knows mommy and papi are his mommy and papi, and he even knows that biologically that the mommy is not his real mom. But
That
when he
just-
has a fever, whatever, she's the one that was there.
But,
Exactly.
but
You know,
that
but
just shows
that
you
clicked on him.
that one comment from an asshole completely changed everything they tried
Exactly.
to build up.
Exactly.
It took years for them to get him in a certain, and then he's like, wait a minute, why would you ruin that for somebody?
That's what I'm
It's like, I
saying.
kind of felt like he understood the relationship between his real mom, birth mom,
Yeah, right.
and his mom.
Right.
But when it got to our father, he never thought.
No, he didn't.
He
He's
never
like,
even thought about it.
No, he's like, and he looked at me in the mirror, eye to eye. He's like, "Jenny, who's my dad?" And I'm like, "Papi." I didn't have another answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Papi's your father." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Because I guess she was questioning the hair texture.
Yeah.
She was getting way more personal than she
She
should.
was, yeah, no, that's
the hair texture.
unnecessarily.
And I'm like, yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously he doesn't look like us, but
Yeah.
so what? I don't even like
why
to
is
now
it
as a
any
adult,
of
I don't.
Your business.
You're in
Yes.
the, you're cutting my hair. Cut my hair, bitch.
Yeah.
So going to that, yeah. going-
That's like messed up though. Like, why? Like, this is, how old was he?
I'm gonna.
He had to have been little.
Yeah, he was little because I think he was 9 when
Oh my God.
Javi and I got married. So maybe I don't
See,
know,
that's-
7.
That's like them telling cut
You know the
mommy.
mushroom haircut? Yeah.
That's like
The
someone coming
mushroom
and be like,
hair.
who's your dad? Who's your like?
No, for real. No, anyways.
They don't
that's-
understand.
That's not
that.
for real.
They don't
too.
know what for real
And
means.
I'm like,
they don't know the
They
way
don't,
that
yeah,
works.
exactly.
no, so touching that subject, I feel that adults are worse. And I want to touch the subject of autism or mental health. We touched the mental health, but when you have children,
What do you mean adults is worse? What do you mean?
okay, like for example, himself, he had a lazy eye, and kids.
Right.
But adults are like, what happened? What's wrong
Yeah.
with your eye? Why have a patch? Why do you? So the same thing goes like, you know, we have our nephew that's autistic, Gordy. I love you. If you're watching, I hope not.
He should not be watching.
No. But when you're old enough, you can watch it. So he's autistic, and sometimes he doesn't act his age. And the biggest assholes are adults.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh,
look
if
at
that
it
was my kid, whatever. Oh, he wouldn't be doing that. Like, people are
They're-
assholes.
like question, like there's so many sickness, so many things going on. Like I feel like it saddens me that he's what right now? He's 11 going on 12. About how people act, especially adults. And like we should be more understanding as adults. Like, oh, he's autistic, or oh, he has an issue, or he has a delay, or okay, but not like look at him like he is some fucking monster.
Sometimes I think because kids are still innocent to a certain extent, and
It really.
and adults, instead of using their head and
I don't think they have
thinking
it.
before they speak, like a normal person should, some people just don't care and will just open their mouth at whatever. So I'm very defensive because I'm ready for stupid people.
Yeah.
So when I'm like waiting for I'm looking for it before it happens.
Yeah.
Because I don't like when people do stupid shit like that. Like, don't.
No, and you know what's worse? When it's the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When it's the family. And
Sometimes, it hurts most because they're supposed to be family.
Exactly.
Family.
I feel like family is the one
I see
that
their family.
they like to
and
break
it's
you down.
very hurtful. And I guess I heard for them, for a future them. Like I think of like how is it gonna be like, especially if it's parents that don't, and I'm sorry because it pisses me off, fucking understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that this child has this issue and blah 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 blah, and then you treat that child like shit
Yeah.
because they're different.
Yeah.
Or especially like, or you don't even like want to bring the child somewhere because
You don't want to deal with
that's
it.
a taboo.
Exactly.
No, you don't want to talk about it. You don't, that you have this special edit. You don't. No. And I'm like, wow, what's gonna happen when this child is 18, old enough that he doesn't know the difference of like, if I hug you, you could be considered a perv, or if I hug you, like you know him already that he's just being sweet because that's how he is.
Right.
So I'm like,
It's something that there needs to be more awareness and something that we need to talk about.
I think
more,
by the time though, I feel like the discussion of stuff has been, people are less afraid to come out and talk about things, especially with stuff like this podcast and, a forum where you feel more comfortable sharing. I feel like nowadays it's less, I feel like the taboo subjects we talk about are not as taboo as they used to be.
Because there's different ways to, you can just pick up your phone and do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the more you talk about it, the more you prepare them for the future, the more ready they'll be.
And talking about that later on, we're gonna have a special episode on autism awareness with some family members and friends to make people aware about autism.
It's funny, like you were saying, like how adults do the worst. I had a parent, like former parent, because their kid's like in elementary school now. But she works at the DMV, and she always would come in, and she'd always be like, I don't know how you guys deal with this. I don't know how you guys deal with a bunch of children. And I'm like, no. I was like, I have to give you more props. Like, I don't know how you deal with adults, like every single day at the DMV yelling at you. And she's like, oh, I can't tell you how many times like I yell. And she's like, why do you think it's worse? I'm like, for me, I feel like your job is worse because you are dealing with adults that know better.
Exactly.
Like they come in here and they know better. They know what's the difference between right and wrong. I was like, kids, they don't know. I'm still teaching them. I'm still helping you guys mold them to what they need to be. But adults, you having a 50-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 60-year-old yelling at you because, you're doing your job and they don't feel like you're doing it right. No, I was like, your job is way worse. And I see her at the DMV and I'm always like, I love you. You're so great. Like I always, because I feel bad,
Now that you mentioned that, for those that know us, I run my childcare from home. Trixie's my assistant, and not pointing anybody else, just in general. And I'm pretty sure you could talk about the same thing when parents do not accept that there is an issue.
Yeah. That's
a taboo. And it has to be hard.
It's like a denial.
Like you don't want nobody to tell you that my child has an issue or whatever, but it's very hard for me, it's very hard to bring it up, and I have to bring it up. I have to say something. I'm the child care provider. I'm with your child, what, 8, 9 hours a day. I see things, and if I see that if your child cannot hear, or if he's not responding, to what I'm, like, I have to bring it up, and it's so stressful because they don't want us, and I understand. It will be hard, but I'm like, let me just, and I tell them, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a child care provider. My specialty is children.
Yeah.
So having so many go through me, there's something different here that you might want to bring up to the doctor, the person that knows. You might want to bring it up to him and say if this is normal. Or your child's the species, you might want to bring it up to the pediatrician and tell them, hey, how many words should my child be saying at this moment? Or it's you have parents that do not accept what you are.
Like you're offering.
No, I'm like, listen, and not to the point where even the doctor's stupid.
Yeah.
The doctor's stupid. He doesn't know what I'm like, okay, so I don't know who's gonna, and I have to bring it up because I feel bad if that child goes to, I don't know, 2nd grade and they're like, listen,
if you
your child is deaf.
Yeah, catch
it's
it
like,
early.
your child is, Didi never told me nothing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did, and you didn't want to hear it.
Exactly.
I don't want that, so I have to bring it up. I have to in a smooth way. I gotta.
There's no smooth
I
way.
think
No, that isn't. But
when you're talking about somebody's kid,
it's bad.
yeah, we try in such a smooth way.
Yeah.
So like when we were just talking, like we should touch on like ADHD. I just found out that Jackie has ADHD. I know, like before she's like, oh, I was like, we're talking about taboos, and then and she's sorry, and Peppy too. Yeah, I know Peppy, but like, I just found out about Jackie. Jeremy suffers from it, so I kind of know, but like, I feel like that's something that nobody wants to talk about. When, like, do you mind like saying how you found out and stuff?
So I've suffered from anxiety / depression for a while. I feel like it it's been since I was young, like little, ever since I can remember, which is exhausting. And I think it got worse after having kids. Marcos noticed it. He's like, yes. when you have kids, your hormones are thrown your hormones.
Yeah.
So things can change after having them. Your body changes, your hair pattern changes, your mood changes. That's why people go through postpartum depression. That's another taboo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm over feeling like this, so I decided to see a therapist to see, if I could talk any issues out or whatever. So in my hour session, after we're done, she goes, well, I think that not only do you have general anxiety or disorder, you have a little bit of ADHD too. So I'm like,
Oh,
and when she said that, it really was like a light bulb.
Yeah.
Like a bell went off, and I was like, this would make sense because
it makes so much sense.
what I feel is not just anxiety, but when you don't know any better and you don't know any better.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about the feelings.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about how it affects them. Everybody wants to portray this feeling that they have it together and that they are able to, be the super mom, super wife, super worker, super everything, and no one has a breakdown because you just gotta smile and say that you're doing good. But for me, I've learned that I can't play that role.
Yeah.
It's not good for me to try to deny it. And
so were you feeling like this at a younger age? Because you said you were always like that.
I've always felt anxious.
It was just never mentioned. It was never spoken about.
It was never spoken about because
and that's why
it was my norm. It was my norm. It's all I knew.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was supposed to feel different until I would be vocal about it, and more to my sister, and she's like, yeah, that's not normal.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, so you don't want to jump off a cliff? Oh, that's great.
Oh.
I have gone to extremes of, and it's more recently of depression where you don't want to do anything. And I never understood that until I felt it myself.
Yeah.
People look at people with depression and they're like, you're just lazy.
Yeah.
You just, you don't want to shower. Oh, you're disgusting. How about you don't want to, sometimes people don't want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the showering is the least of their worries.
Yeah.
They are trying to get through the day. They're trying to survive. And what I'm here to say is talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it,
This is a
because
taboo.
when you
It's a
get it out,
taboo.
you feel so much better, because there are so many people that feel the same way, but they will not say it.
Listen.
And with me expressing my diagnosis, more people have said,
Coming
really?
out.
You too? I
Yeah.
have bipolar depression.
Yeah.
I have whatever.
Yeah.
I have
This
this.
past
And it's
weekend,
like,
we're
wait
like,
a minute.
you too?
But why is it that we don't
Yeah.
tell? Why don't we, like, come on.
It's
Yeah.
there. It's that's what I told you when we started with the mental illness. I'm pretty sure that in my immediate family, we have issues.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Nobody talks
me
about it.
myself, I'm like, I can see. Let's go to my father's side of the family. I'm not gonna mention names, but my father's side of the family, they're a large family.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably like, I don't know, 7 of them. I can't count right now. But I've seen the actions of being nervous, like you can't. Okay, I've seen or hear the stories about like, oh my God, this child was so effing hyper. Like he would just, okay, there's a name for it now.
Mm-hmm.
But our parents, my uncles or aunts, they were never treated for it.
Yeah.
They were just fucking crazy.
There was nothing to treat.
No, you don't talk about mental. No, okay. So now we're going through the
Or
shit.
you pray about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we talk about it.
No, I
Now you bring it up. Last weekend we brought it up, and
Yeah.
we're like, boom, boom, boom. I have that. Oh, I have it. You're like, fuck, I'm not alone.
But that's the thing, is that when you don't talk about it, you don't know that there are other people that feel the same way or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you're going through it on your own, or you don't have a supportive partner, or your family is like, there's nothing wrong with you,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
something
no.
that is
I
all in
just
your,
want
it's all in your
attention.
mind.
Yeah.
It's all in your
Attention.
mind. You just gotta think happy thoughts. No.
Yeah.
No.
We're not Peter Pan.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, this is serious, and it's an issue, and it's something that why do we hear on the news that there's 10, 12, 15-year-olds killing themselves and hanging themselves?
No,
and shit?
yeah.
Like that's not normal.
No, it's not.
You said the postpartum depression.
And that too.
When I hear about moms, and I'm not excusing them, but when I hear moms that, oh, if the mom kills baby, jumps off the cliff or a bridge, and blah blah blah. Nobody knows what she's going through.
Exactly.
What she's going through. And I personally, I know of people that have waited for this child with this happiness, and as soon as they have that child, boom.
It's not you. That's
Boom.
what it is.
I've
It's
had-
not you.
I've had family members that like they waited for this child, and because of taboos, she was like, Jennifer, got to the point where I call so and so for help. And they're like, oh, I'll be right there. I need to do the laundry and wash the dishes, and
They
I'll
didn't
be
take
right
it
there.
seriously,
Yeah. And then she calls somebody else. They're like, oh, I'm at Walmart. I'm doing this. But as soon as I finish this, I'll go over there. Like the baby's born. Oh, baby's cute. Everybody wants a
Right.
baby.
Mhm.
But, make it a point to ask, how are you feeling?
Exactly.
How are you doing? How can I help you?
Yeah.
And that's something else. Like, you feel like you have to be super mom and you don't, like,
Yeah.
you can do it. But no, like, we're here. We could help you out. So this person told me, like, they're like, I felt like taking the baby and just throwing it against the wall and then taking care of me. And I'm like, wow. And then she's like, she's venting when she's like, because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I don't know, I don't have any children, but I was taught that, ask about the mom.
Yeah,
How are
that's
you
how
doing?
I was taught
So
too.
I did that, and she needed that, and
Yeah,
she
nobody
vented,
pays
and I'm here with the baby.
attention.
I'm here with the baby. She's like, I'm gonna go take a shower.
Yeah.
And she's like, I called my mom and I called my sister, and they were too busy.
Yeah.
And she's like, I felt like doing this, and she's crying her ass off. She's like, I love my daughter with
Right.
all my life. I don't want to hurt my child, but.
It's
Like
the
she's
depression that
crying,
takes over.
she's crying, and she's crying, and I don't know what to do. First time mom, and I'm going
Oh
crazy.
my God, you're
And I'm
taking
like-
me back to
and-
Gummy.
no, and I'm like-
the postpartum depression.
And I'm like, I'm here.
But I
I'm
didn't go to
here.
the doctor because I was ashamed.
Really?
No.
See, no, that's.
And they said, how are you doing? And I said, oh,
No,
I'm fine.
no.
And I lied.
No.
Wow.
And
Because I didn't want them to be like, is she gonna be safe with her kid? Is she gonna hurt the kid? And I felt like I wasn't a good mom.
yeah.
Because
No.
they made, and and it was hard because then another thing is that they don't let the husband stay. They think that the woman is the one that needs to stay home for the postpartum.
Yeah.
No, I think
See, that's what I like about Europe, because Europe gives the mom and the dad a year, like, paid time off. Yeah.
Let's move.
I know.
Oh, I'm done having kids and it's too late now.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go.
Tell me how
Let me know how it goes.
No,
It's just rough because I remember to this day holding her and I was crying. Marcos was like, all right, I'll see you later, because he was going to work and she was 2 weeks old. Never been a mom before, never done this before.
Yeah.
And I would bawl, I would hold her, I would just start crying. And I'm like, why am I crying? I have a healthy baby that's with me, and everything that she did would get under my skin. She was crying too much, she was hungry too much, she was, I have to change her again.
And then add the breastfeeding, that's another taboo. You don't breastfeed, you're a bad mom.
You're not a mom.
You don't breastfeed.
And if you have a C-section, you didn't really give birth.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
You're not a mom, you didn't truly give birth if you got baby cut out.
Yeah.
No.
That's what people say too.
No.
But it's something that, like, if you're dealing with it, I don't care. And I tell my friend, and I know I say it because I feel it. If you need to talk, call me at 2 a.m. because you feel like you're at the end of your rope. Call me at 2 a.m. because I know for a fact that I've had those days where I'm like, I cannot do it. And to have that person just there with you and to be with you and just hear you, it just makes you feel like you're not by yourself.
Yeah, I've told friends, I'm like, listen, you're alone over there in that other city. It doesn't matter, like, if we're cleaning up, if you want to come over, come.
It gets lonely.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You can come over. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's a mattress there, whatever. I don't have a guest room, but you feel free to come over whenever you want, or give us a call or whatever. We'll, with the Fefi situation, like, for those that know that Fefi is in the middle of a divorce, an ugly one, and what divorce is not pretty, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, an arranged one. Anyways, no, and there were moments where, and I am so thankful to Javi that there were moments that when I'm at the daycare, I can't leave 12 kids. No, my husband will take on his break, go see Fefi. Because it was like a month of mourning the way it happened, which you'll know about it. It was, and I was afraid for my sister. I was afraid. I'm like, no, whenever, call me, or, you know, that we took turns, and no matter what time, like, she would call. And I just, you know, I'm like, no, whenever, just let me know. But it's.
I don't think people understand how valuable that is to have. Even if you think you don't know anybody struggling with mental illness, you do.
Yeah.
That's it. They're just not talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more common than it's spoken about. And it's ridiculous because if so many of us would just say it and be like, listen, this is what's going on. Today, I don't want to do that. Today, I don't feel up to it. You don't have to put on a brave face and do things you don't feel comfortable doing, because sometimes you just got to take care of yourself.
And that's what I was talking earlier, that I'm like, God knows what my mom, raising the three of us before Paris came, what she was, let's say she's going through her issues, her moments.
Yeah.
Raising 3 kids, picking up, dropping off, cooking, cleaning, this, that, and she had to go through her issues, but no, she's not allowed to. You bad mom, you're bad.
You don't have issues.
No, you're mean, you're a mean mom.
What issue could you have? Oh, that's another thing that I heard before. How could you be anxious? How could you be depressed? You have such a great life. You have a husband that loves you. You have beautiful children. You have a beautiful new house you just got. You got a job that pay. Make me feel more guilty, why don't you?
Yeah.
Because I know that I have those things. And it's not that I'm not grateful for those things. It's the fact that this is an illness. Just like people have diabetes, just like people have cancer, just like people have whatever. It's an illness. We don't tell people with diabetes, oh no girl, you better not go to the doctor. You can't do that.
To me, I feel like and I thought about it, so I'm like, what can I do to help you out? You know,
and you know, people say that to me.
What can I do?
My parents,
to
my
help
sister,
you
my
out?
husband, and I'm like, you can't.
Yeah.
Just
you know,
be there.
how can I make
Just
it better,
be
or
there.
do I need to listen?
You can't
That's
make it
all,
better. That's the
because
thing.
I feel that it's a slap on the face. Me telling you what, you know, you got 2 kids, I don't have any. Like, you have this, like,
and that's the thing, is that I feel guilty, and that makes you feel even worse.
Yeah.
Because you have this anxiety, and you have this depression and you have this ADHD. Anything else? Anybody else want to do
No, let me throw something else.
And then on top of it, people are like, you're blessed. What? I mean, you have so much.
It's like
you're
this-
healthy. Here I'm not, girl.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing is that just because you don't feel it doesn't mean somebody else can't feel it.
Exactly.
And you have to just be not sensitive, but just be aware that not everybody is like you. And just because they have those blessings or their life seems a certain way to you doesn't mean that that's what that is.
Exactly.
So let me just tweak it real quick. It's just the same I'm told that I'm lucky that I don't have any kids.
God forbid. That comes from
trust me,
straight up
that's a
ignorance.
blessing, girl.
ignorance.
You don't know. That's
Oh
a
my God.
blessing.
Yeah, that's
girl,
what you want to hear.
God, no,
Yeah.
no, mija, you're lucky you don't have any kids.
People
I'm
are
like,
stupid.
you know,
People are
especially,
they really are.
coming from people that have kids.
Then that means you don't wish you don't have kids.
Don't
then?
tell me that shit.
Then you wish you didn't have those kids.
Don't tell me, because you don't know my emptiness.
What if
Yeah.
your kids heard that?
You don't know.
Exactly.
No, mija, no. Like I think, and when it comes from family, also, it's hurtful.
Family hurts you the most.
It hurts the
Yeah.
most
Because they mean the
they're-
most to you.
Yeah, it's hurtful, and I think they try to say it like to make you feel better. Like it's okay, mama.
It
Like,
doesn't.
I'm like, no, it doesn't feel better. No, you don't know. It's just the way, like you said, like you don't know. Like I have all of these blessings, but you don't know. I can't control this. I can't control my system. I can't control popping out a kid. Listen, if I could have kids, I would have like 6 kids by now.
Yeah.
It is what it, but no, like it wasn't. But you know, I was blessed that I don't have any kids. You know, you lucky. You should be thankful to God that I don't have any kids. I'm like, really? Wow.
What do you say to people?
I'm like, wow.
I can't tolerate people like
don't-
this. I can't. I'd be like, I'm sorry, what?
No, you know what? When I was younger, it didn't bother me that much. It bothers me more now.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more like, you know how you said like you're ready with an answer? I'm like,
You're ready, right? You're waiting.
yeah, but I have to take it from where it comes from. Like, I'm sorry. My grandma, she just don't comprehend that
She's also old school.
she's old school
So
and
old
she's
school.
older and she forgets. And every time we sit down, she's like, you know, you still could have kids. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can still. I'm like, okay, I leave it there because
my
I have
God.
explained to her so many times that it's just not that
She
way.
doesn't get it.
She doesn't get it. She doesn't
Yeah.
get it. It's no. And you're right. Like I don't know what's going through you.
Right.
And you don't know what's going in my heart, in my that. You know, like I told you before. I'm like, where Javi and I are gonna be older. I don't know, maybe we get some pets until they die or whatever. But you will have Kami and Leo. Who do I have? Some people say you have nephews and a niece. I'm like, that belongs to Jackie and Marco. You know, like I want
something of
to,
your own.
Yes. Now we have settled like Javi's gonna be 50, I'm 46. I'm like, whatever. Like, yeah. I do find it a blessing that like the type of work that we do, I get to raise people's kids. That's
Do you
awesome.
think that has to do with you not being able to have your own?
I'm good. Like I feel happy. I feel
But do you
always
feel like you got into caring for kids, or you always?
I've
liked
always liked
being
working with kids. Like when I was doing Sunday school, I was 16.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I couldn't have kids. I didn't know I had endometriosis.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but I always liked that field. And it happens to be that opening a childcare, I've taken care of newborns. They've left.
It was your way of being around
Leo,
children.
like, little. Yeah, like
You got you're
I
getting your
get
dose
that,
of
I
people, and then you get to
spoil
give
that,
back.
and then
You're the best part. Like you're
no, I gotta clean that poop. Yeah. So I feel, in a way, I feel like I'm okay. I'm okay. Like at the age that we're at, I have my, hey, like if God gave me 6 kids right now, I think I'm ready to raise them.
Maybe you wait till you're ready.
Maybe.
Raise them all at the same time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so no, like right now I have kids of every age, from
Yeah.
1 till 3, almost 4. We at 5.
I'm trying to potty train right now because I cannot stand diapers. Like,
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing that.
but no, it's crazy that you're. I don't mean to go back to the mental health.
Infertility, it's a taboo that we don't talk about.
No, we never talk about.
And people love asking,
Yeah.
why not?
But with the mental health, it's crazy because I've always been supportive about it, and it's something I'll talk about in the vlog. But like Jeremy suffers from a lot of different things, and he hid it from me until about 3 years ago when we started living together.
Really?
Because we weren't together, so the days that he would have his mood, he calls it his moods. So when he would have his moods, we weren't together. We didn't see each other.
Right.
He'd just be like, babe, I don't feel good. Like, I'm just gonna.
But you couldn't avoid it because you're together now.
Yeah, we live together.
Right.
So it's like.
He's like, listen, I gotta move.
No. It was like the first time I thought it was an insult because he like shuts himself away and he just like does his own thing and he pushes me away. I felt like he pushed me away.
Right.
So I was like, Jeremy, what's wrong? Like
Meanwhile,
this and
it has
that.
nothing to
And
do with
he's
you.
over here like dealing with his
Okay.
stuff. And then he would like come out of it and he'd be like, hey babe, this is what happened. First time I was like, I got insulted because I'm like trying to bug him and he didn't mean to, but he's like, just leave me alone.
Right.
We got in a big old fight and I was like, oh no. And I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Oh no, you did.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
you did.
I was ready for a fight.
Oh no.
But when he got out of it, he kind of like started explaining it to me. And I'm like, wow, like I thought I was always like a supportive person. But like sleeping next to him every day and seeing when he's going through these moods, like he is my child when he is in those moods, because if he doesn't eat, like if I don't make sure he doesn't eat, like he won't eat, you know, if I'm not like, hey, let's go take a shower, like he won't take a shower. Like I have to make sure that things aren't around, because sometimes he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. Once he went for a walk for like 3 hours and I was like, where are you? Because he just wanted to like leave, you know? So I have to constantly be like on him, but I didn't realize how much you guys go through until I had to be the one taking care of him. So I'm like, I thought I was supportive, but now I'm like, it's a whole different thing. Cause even at times, sometimes I'm like, crap, like why do you, like recently he had a mood and I'm like, why? Like I have so many other things to do. Like I don't have time to take care of you. And I felt so bad. I felt like a shitty person because I'm like, Trixie, like he can't help this, but you're kind of putting it like you're being like, why?
That's good
you
on
know?
you for not people a lot of times don't think like that. It's nice that he has you there.
Yeah.
Because
but it's like it's a lot. I always said, I'm like, I thought I was supportive, but it's like you're not until you get put in that position.
Right.
So it's like with Marcos, like I understand that he's sitting there and he's helping you. It's like, wow, like he has a big job next to him.
Oh
you
my
know
God.
what I mean?
And I cry. I cry because I tell him, I thank you so much for putting up with me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And I'm not an easy person, you know?
Yeah.
And I just am grateful.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for him because he wasn't always like that. But I feel like with all the communication and kind of telling him how it is on my end, because when you're quiet, they're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be able to read your mind.
Exactly.
So unless you are honest, and you don't have to give all the details, but
no.
just like he told you, I'm having a mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what that means now.
Yeah.
Because he explained it to you, and
Exactly.
it's like, okay, it's just one of his times where he's got to get away.
Yeah.
And Marcos does that for me now, because I think I've been so vocal with him about it that he can tell. He's like,
Yeah.
go away. I got the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even if it's stupid, reading a book or going
Yeah.
on Instagram or taking a shower,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that I can do for myself to kind of,
Yeah.
settle down and
Yeah.
get back into it.
Yeah.
But if you don't get those breaks and you're not vocal about needing the breaks,
Yeah.
it's just gonna blow up.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get bad.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk about mental health a lot with my family because they didn't talk about it with their family, and so on
And
and
I
so forth.
and I applaud you for
Talking about it.
talking about it, one, and two, getting help. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me?
I want to know because I'm tired of it.
There's so many
It's
family.
exhausting.
I have family members that old school thinking that they will not accept that.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no problem.
no, but you need to see a doctor. Not me. You do. But you have an issue too. No.
And
You
you
need
know
to see a
it's
doctor.
you.
I'm like, how do you, oh my gosh. Like, okay, like.
How are you
what-
accepting
like-
of somebody else, but you're not
But
accepting
you're
of
not.
yourself?
Like, let's
Yeah.
get you some help. And like I said, like, I see, in my family, I see it. Like, oh my God, I think that's it.
And that's what's good about when you like, since I've grown up with this, I used to, like, stuff that wasn't normal. Now I know. Before was just me, because that's how I was. And I would be younger and my parents would go away, you know, to New York or something, on a little thing away where my sister's old enough so she would watch us. And when they would go, I would cry and cry and cry.
Oh.
And I thought, they're not gonna come back. The plane is gonna crash.
Oh my God,
and
Oh my gosh.
this is all in my head. This is all in my head. This is in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm crying, like, dramatic, crazy in the shower, like, ooh, like, and then I didn't tell anybody though. I would do it in private, because I was like, I don't know why I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But then later on, when I was older, and I would see my parents would leave, and my brother was like, okay, we'll see you later. And my sister's like, okay, we'll see you later. And I was like, ooh. I'm like, what the freak is, why am I?
Yeah.
And I would tell my sister the thoughts that I would have, the crazy, irrational, out there thoughts. And she's like, that's not normal, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? So whenever I have an issue, whenever I have a problem, or I come across somebody that I'm not getting along with, I'll talk to my husband or my sister. I'm like, since you have a normal brain, I would like to tell you how you would handle this. I really do. I do. And that might sound funny, but I really do, because
no, I love that, though.
If I react a specific way, I'm like,
is
this the way?
Come on.
And my sister's like, you know, you need to stop calling yourself crazy. You're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just something that you need to learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
Because this is how your brain is wired. It's not your fault.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, is that I have been called crazy, and nothing hurts more than you feeling that and then somebody telling you that. Like, it's a confirmation. And it's like, am I really crazy?
Yeah.
And you need to know that you're not.
Yeah.
And if you have issues, you need to talk about it, because it's so much. And I'm still working through it. There's days where I can't explain it, but I'll just bawl for no reason. Just bawl. And I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I can't tell you. And then I have family like, what can I do? And I know that it comes from a place of love, but you can't. Like, my mom, I don't know if she felt it in her spirit. It was a few days ago, and I'm sitting in my room on my chair, and I'm bawling, and I don't know why I'm bawling. She calls me and says "mommy" on my screen, and I pick it up, and I'm like, oh. And she's like, what's wrong? It's like she felt it. It was weird. I didn't tell her. Like, I had told her that I'd been not feeling well, you know, mentally or whatever. But she called me and she's like, do you want me to come over there? You know, is everything okay? What can I do? And it's just having that, to know that you can count on somebody. That's sometimes all you need to know, that if you make that I need you now, and they'll drop everything for you. That's like the biggest comfort. Yeah. Because, and I know for a fact that if anybody were to call me and have that moment of desperation, I'll be there. Yeah. Because I know what it's like to feel like no one's there.
Yeah. It's crazy because he tells me, he's like, I like it because you keep me on schedule. Like, he likes to run every day because he has ADHD. So like he runs, he doesn't want to take medication. So he runs to get that energy. So even when he's in those moods, like, I'm like, hey, let's go for a run. Like, I hate running, but I'm like, let's go do this.
You're doing it for him.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go do this. I'm like, or let's go do that. And he's like, okay. But there are times that he's like, I just need to stay in bed. And I'm like, okay. But it's great that, like, you're being vocal. It's just something that, like, because we were talking about taboo, like, he didn't even want to talk to me about it, you know?
It needs to be talked more, and I'm glad that, I don't know if I should say generation, or now we're more open, or we're more sensitive or whatever about certain issues, but it's coming out more.
And I noticed it with Kami that she has anxiety.
Really?
And I think that me having it, I'm able to notice it faster.
Okay, so you can pinpoint it right now.
I pinpoint it. And she has tendencies, anxiety, like tendencies for anxiousness and stuff. And I see her in me, and it hurts my heart. But it also, I'm grateful that I can pinpoint it and put a finger on it. And I can talk about it. Secret. And I actually took her to a doctor, her primary care, and I was afraid that they were gonna wash it off and be like, oh, she's 8. What is she having stressed out about? Like, I was afraid they were gonna like dumb it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, I hope they take this seriously. And she was amazing.
Oh wow.
She was like, I want to teach you some breathing exercises, and I want to show you that our brains can play tricks on us where we feel like the problem is this big and it's never gonna get better. But I'll tell you, it's never that bad.
Yeah.
It's never as bad as you think it is.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I was like,
Like you felt really.
I wish I had that when I was little. When I was little, yeah.
because nobody understood.
No,
And it was
no.
so
And I'm
lonely.
glad. Yeah, no.
And the fact that I can talk to her about it, and I'm like, how are you feeling today? Are you breathing okay today? Do you feel, because sometimes anxiety can manifest in pain in your body. You can get headaches,
Wow.
you can get soreness and cramps, and your mind is such a strong thing, and it influences so many different parts of you. When I get stressed out before I was on my birth control, I wouldn't get my period. Like it would be months.
Oh wow.
And
It affected her.
it affects everything. It
Yeah.
affects your life. It affects your
Yeah.
relationships. It affects your work, your children, your husband, your job. I mean, there's everything that affects. So if you don't get that right, you're not helping yourself.
And I think Jen, one day we were talking about, and she was saying like, she's like, we call it cancel culture or sensitive culture. She's like, I think because of that, it's kind of bringing it out more.
Yeah.
Because now it's like there's certain things people are more quick to cancel you, or people are more quick to be like, this is not right. Like you're supposed to be doing this, right? So I feel like it's opening up the door for people to talk about mental
we are
health.
calling it, and I'm a part of it, that we call it, the sensitive generation. Too sensitive. But
because of it,
some
they're
aspects
opening.
are some
to
aspects
the
are
extreme.
to the extreme, but in some ways it's gotten us where we are today as far
Because
as
now
talking
there's
about the
more
issues.
about mental health, and
Yes.
there's more
Yes.
about let's
we can
take
pinpoint
care
it
of
because
this.
back then you couldn't talk about it. So now, being sensitive about it, we could talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you are to the point where you could pinpoint it with your daughter and be like, okay, you know what?
Let's go to
I'm not
doctor.
shutting up. I'm
Yeah.
not shutting up. We're gonna,
And my sister told me maybe you went through it so that you could help her with it.
yeah.
And when I think about it that way, it makes, if I didn't grow up with it and feel this way, I would know how she's feeling. And the fact that I know how she's feeling, I feel like she feels more comfortable. Like it's not just me. And I want her to know that now while she's young.
Yeah.
And not hold her feelings inside and be like, oh, I'm not supposed to be feeling this. I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's now. It's been. So I'm hoping.
My mom had a moment, I want to say, it was in the 90s. She had a moment where she was having panic attacks and crying for nothing. Like she couldn't go out.
Yeah,
She couldn't. And did she get help? Oh, no. Like it was all, like we dealt with it. I didn't know what to do. Like she would sit in the toilet like crying.
She
like
doesn't know what to do. 'Cause
she doesn't.
probably
I'm like,
doesn't even know
Mom,
what's
and
wrong.
I'm crying with her. I'm like, Mom, what can I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? Tell me how you feel. So maybe I don't know. I can make you feel better. What? And I remember like we went on a 4th of July vacation, and she was, I think we took it just to see if, like not stressing, not being home will help her. She didn't want to go out of the room. Wow. Okay, she's like, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, she's like, if she went out, she would cry. If she stayed in, she would cry. I'm like, okay, Mom, okay. I'm like,
and that's how. And how do you
And
think
then
that
with-
it
with
makes
3
the
kids.
person that's going through it? You feel like,
I'm like, what can
you're
I-
such an inconvenience. You're such a burden.
No, you
Why
go,
can't I
you
just be
go. I'll deal
normal?
with it. I'm like, no,
Why
it's-
can't I just be like everybody else?
Yeah.
It's such a sucky place to be.
But
It
here's the
really
taboo
is.
part. Did mommy get help?
No.
I think she went to a gynecologist because
Okay.
we thought maybe you're
Hormones?
going through your menopause, hormone change, maybe they're screwing with you. And the doctor's like, no, you're not menopausal, you're good. Okay, then I'm like, okay, maybe your thyroid's?
Wow,
Maybe it's
everything
thyroid?
else but the brain.
But
But I feel like
she didn't even
that's
get
the
help.
first
She
thing.
didn't even get help there. Once she was told that she wasn't going through
That she was- that
menopause,
was
she
it?
was fine. She's like, and I'm
But
like,
your mom doesn't like to go to the doctor a lot, though.
at all. She's very hard-headed.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Oh my God.
I
so-
think that's a generational thing too.
Yes,
That
yes, it is.
I don't need a doctor.
Yeah,
I'll put some Vicks on it.
So
like we didn't know, and till today she never went.
Wow.
It just went over. I think and let me tell you, like I always tell you, I'm like, if I had all the money in the world, I want to reward my parents with, I don't know, something, I don't know, take them around the world. I don't know, but mommy, superwoman. Like my grandmother passed away a couple of months after she was going through this, and my grandmother that passed away was the one that raised my father, because my real grandmother died giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
So this lady that raised 6, 7 kids, she passed away. That was his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And his stepmom. But she raised a lot of people in the town, the hometown. And she's the one that when Fifi was sick, she was my security blanket. So that was our first person that died that was
Really was close.
Yes. So my mom that's going through all these issues, she had to put up with a crying grown-ass man, my father, and me. That when you go through this, you blame yourself. You go through stages, the mourning stages. You know, I could have done this. I should have seen her more. I should have spoken to her more. Like, I don't know what happened to my mom's sickness at that moment. It went away. She was there to hold both of us up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the going out of the house or the I don't know. Like, not that it was a switch that it stopped. No, like it was a couple of months after, but it could have triggered it back. Mommy traveled and she was with Papi, she was with me and held me up and held my father up, and like I've never seen my father cry the way like his mom. This was his mom. So, and mommy was there. Like mommy was a warrior. She held things together for us. Okay, and I'm like, wow, like she was going through her issue, and you know, I guess that's what our moms do. Like
But she might still be going through the issues. She just doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, she put it aside, but I know she still goes through her issues.
It's a taboo thing. It's mom has to be strong and mom has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that we all say that because when I was younger, I always thought my parents were like superwomen. And Superman, like I felt like they were invincible, like nothing could go wrong with them. Like they were the strongest, and they are the strongest people in the world.
They are.
I do think that, but I do believe that, at times they need help. And
they need help.
And they
Everybody,
need, that they're...
And you need to put your foot down and be like, Mom,
yeah,
you need to see an effing doctor.
Yeah.
You do. No,
See, so it's like, I think I still have to get reminded, like, hey, they're humans and they still need help and stuff like that. I think I started working when I was 16, and we moved here to a point where my parents were making a lot of money in St. Pete, and then we came here and we were struggling a lot because they weren't making as much money. So when I turned 16, I was like, hey, mommy, papi, like, do you need help with anything? Like, do you need me to pick up anything? At that time, of course, they were in a point where they were, but I was like, you're not Superwoman anymore, and you're not Superman. Like, I see you as that, but I know that you're human, and I know that you need help. So it's like, tell me what I need help, what you need help with.
They don't want to put that burden on you.
Yeah. And it's like, but it's like me opening up to them. It's like, I know more about my parents' finances. I know more about what's going on in their lives because I'm always like, hey, what are you doing? Like right now we're talking about retirement plan because they need it. I don't, sorry, I love you, pero...
It's like the
I'm like
testament and retirement. You don't talk about that.
Yeah,
No.
And mommy and papi are like, no. And I'm like, listen, like me and my mom got in an argument because I'm like, listen, what you want to do, I get it, pero I'm looking at the numbers in the future, and the numbers aren't adding up. I was like, it's not that I don't want to take care of you, I do, but I also want you to be able to do whatever you want without being like, hey Trixie, necesito this much chavo, I need this, I need that. I don't want that for you. So it's like, now it's like they're coming around and they're kind of being like, okay, Trixie.
That's good. You made them get their shit together for their wills and their money for the future.
I mean, the retirement plan. I don't play. I wanted to mention one more taboo to finish it.
Yeah.
Tattoos. People with tattoos.
I got my first one.
So bad. I got like 4 or 5. I
got my first one. So I'm like,
people with tattoo.
Yeah, that used to be like a
you don't get a tattoo, you're bad. Well, I'm like, I forget about this one, but people with tattoo are bad.
Yeah, or you get them only in prison.
Or unprofessional.
Yes, and no, that's old school.
I think that's really old school.
Yeah,
because
that's really old school.
but you know what I don't get though is so many times I see men, like old men with their like sailor chicks and everything. It's like, but they how come it's okay for them to go do? Because they were in the military. Is that was more acceptable?
I don't know.
Because I see like older men with like tattoos. Yeah, and then there are really crappy ones because they know how to do tattoos back then.
Yeah.
And it's like an anchor or like they're pin-up lady.
It used to be a rose and now it's a long stem.
Or mom. Yeah.
I think it's something like my mom always like told me like, oh, it's only people that went to prison and you know what I mean and things like that. Like you need
that's
to keep.
for ghetto people.
Yeah, no,
That's
and
for
I'm
ghetto
like,
people. That's what my parents used to tell
And
me.
your body's a temple and you shouldn't work it.
Yeah. And don't wear jewelry either because if you're gonna, you know,
if you're gonna go there, you better go.
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way.
Don't get your beard.
So no, my
tattoos are
no,
definitely
somebody
big
did
taboo.
baja. That's for ghetto people. You don't do that. And oh my god, when I got my first tattoo, I didn't tell my father. My mom knew about it because I was more open with my mom. And Paris was little. He's like, when I grow up, I want 2 tattoos. And I'm like, ooh, he's gonna tell dad. And he's like, Jennifer, like you, I want a cowboy here and I want a cowboy there too. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna tell dad. He never told dad.
Oh,
He never told dad. Yeah, I thought, you know, being little,
Yeah.
he was like 3, I think. Yeah, he never told dad. Thank God.
I told mine when I was old.
I told my dad when I was married. Yeah, he did.
Oh my
We
God.
came back from our honeymoon, and I showed my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, that's fake." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And then he asked Javi, like, "Why did you let her do that?" And Javi's like, "It's her body. She can do whatever she wants." And he's like, "Yeah, why did you let her do that?" And he's like, "No, that has to be fake." So now we play around, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to get a big tattoo right here on my."
Your dad?
Yeah, on his
That's
leg.
so
I'm like, yeah, I
funny.
would love to take him to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were always taught that people with tattoo are bad.
Yeah.
Bad, and you have professions, you have doctors, you have. I love it. I love it when you prove them wrong.
Exactly.
Like nope.
It's funny, like, I got my first one like 2 weeks ago, but when I was 18.
Show your tattoo.
I made a vlog about it.
Yeah, there it is.
It's
How cute
making
is this?
Oh, it's so delicate.
Thank you.
It is. Let's get another tattoo.
Go to my guy.
I like it. I want a micro like that. Yeah.
But yeah, like I got my first one 2 weeks ago, but when I was 18, my friend already had like 5 of them. So I had the money and I called
She
my
was
dad.
ghetto.
She just got happy.
No,
She was
no.
like, and I called my dad. I was like, hey, Bobby, we're gonna go get I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And my dad is a very person that if you do something that he doesn't give you permission, you're living under his house, you automatically get kicked out. So my dad told me like, no, Trixie, like you can't get a tattoo or you're gonna have to find somewhere to stay. So I'm like, fuck, I have nowhere to
But
stay.
that's
So-
wrong. Like, how am I hurting you with a tattoo? Like,
Exactly, and it was my
like,
money and everything, so I never got it. And then when I got this one like 2 weeks ago, I kind of just did the plan. I was like, I told my brother, I'm like, hey, message your friend, let's just do it. He's like, okay. And then I didn't tell my dad till like the last
No,
minute. I was
she's
like, oh, I'm getting a tattoo.
Hey, I got a tattoo and I'm moving out next month.
Yeah. And then he was like, and I was like, oh, by the way, I was like, you told me like when I was ready that you would pay for my tattoo. So he ended up selling me the money. But yeah, I was like, but it wasn't like, there wasn't even, yeah. Yeah, he had no, like, he couldn't be like, oh, no, he didn't have time to like talk me out. Cause I'm like, I already booked it. It's this day. Like the guy canceled on us, but then like he rescheduled with us. And then I was like, Bobby, like, I need the money. He's like, okay. And he sold me the money and he made it more.
And I see, like, you're
also
older
grown.
now. You're older,
Yeah.
and because, like, Paris wanted a tattoo when he was like 16.
I think everybody
as soon
wants
as
one
he
at
want-
16.
I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if I tell you the tattoos that he wanted, he is so happy that he waited. Because I'm like, why would you want that? Really? And he would tell me, Jen, I want this. I'm like, why? Like, that doesn't make sense. And I make fun of him.
You still
I'm
like
like,
the Cowboys?
yeah. And the first tattoo you want a Cowboys, like, why would I want a Cowboys? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. You want one here, one here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but there's a lot of taboos. I don't think we got everything.
No,
you know?
I feel like we could keep going. Like, if you
Yeah.
guys want us to keep going, let us
Yeah,
know.
but what we could do also, if you do have a taboo that you want to share with us, send us maybe like a 2-minute video.
Yeah, and we can do like a...
Yeah, a little video of everybody's taboos that you want to share. I think no more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, no more than 2
Yeah,
minutes.
because we want to try to be fair and try to fit a couple of people.
Yeah.
So if you want to share your taboo, or if you have something to say about what we talked about, go ahead, give us a 2-minute video, send it in. Trixie's gonna put the email on the video.
I'll link it below.
Yeah, link it below.
Yeah.
I think 2 minute will be easy to email.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do that. I hope you guys enjoy. There's so much.
There's so much more we can talk about.
I feel like a therapy session.
Seriously,
When
thank
I
you,
was
thank you guys.
little.
Hey, can we have a box of tissues next time?
I know, right? I feel like we all cried. Like I started tearing up.
No,
and I was
no,
like,
you should have listened.
And we need to
Yeah.
lay down like
No.
Yeah.
Like I always appreciated you. Like I love you. I love you for like the way you love my brother and my nephew and my niece. Like you are so passionate. And I'm like, I don't want to cry, but I love you more for what you go through because it's not easy. Like just like I mentioned, my mom, like she raised us with whatever issues she has that they're not mentioned.
Right.
If she has it or not,
Right.
you're going through your own shit.
Exactly.
And you are a superwoman. You are. Okay, so
I don't think so, but thanks.
You are Superwoman.
You are,
Hustle.
that's
You are
not easy.
Superwoman. Yeah, it's
That's
not
not-
easy.
Well, it's something that I've dealt with for
it's
so long that
not.
it's just my everyday that I just feel
It's
like
not.
it's just like,
And I mentioned it to you, I see Fifi with her kids, and I'm like, Gonyo.
Yeah.
Like once I saw you giving birth, once I saw Fifi giving birth, I'm like, wow, these bitches are strong. Like women, we could do a lot.
Women are, yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
So if you guys want to like hear more on Jackie's story, I guess you guys let us know, and then we can have her come back and we can do a vlog for her just by herself talking about her story. And
I think we were going to do an episode on mental illness that we were gonna invite you. We were gonna invite Fifi to talk about her issues, and because fuck the taboo. We should
Exactly.
talk about it, and if it
we
can
should
help
get a
anybody,
tattoo that says that.
fuck
taboos.
taboos. Don't tempt me.
oh my god. Alright, so now we're gonna do thought of the day, okay? So it says, whenever I see a taboo, I just think that's something we need to drag screaming out into the light and discuss, because taboos are where our fears live, and taboos are the things that keep us tiny, particularly for women. And it is by Caitlin Morin.
For real, Caitlin.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
agree.
Yeah.
I feel like
100%.
we make this issues taboo. They don't have to be.
Yeah.
The more you talk about it, the less taboo it is.
So remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Everything will be linked below. So Jackie's information, all of our information will be linked below. And remember, you guys, to always stay
Subscribe.
royal.
Always stay royal. Cheers. I don't have anything.
Cheers. We're empty.
I'm dry.